Welcome to Whisper Cradle. Most nights pass quietly, but every now and then, something small breaks that silence. For the next few minutes, nothing will interrupt the story, just the quiet of the night and whatever waits inside it. A sound someone can't explain, a place someone quietly avoids, a moment that feels slightly wrong. Here at Whisper Cradle, we collect those quiet stories, the ones people rarely talk about, not because they're impossible, but because noticing them changes the way a night feels. Before we begin, tell me something in the comments. Have you ever noticed something strange at night that you couldn't explain? If you enjoy calm, unsettling stories like these, consider subscribing. Now dim the lights, get comfortable, and listen closely. Here is story number 1. The ladder moved. I stopped halfway down the hatch, my boots still on the metal rung, listening to the slow vibration traveling through the steel. For a second, I thought it was the wind. Offshore turbines do that. The whole structure hums when the ocean pushes hard enough. But this was different. This was rhythm. Step, pause, step, coming from below. I did not breathe. The narrow shaft echoed the sound upward, soft and patient, as if someone did not want to hurry. "I don't know," I whispered. "Maybe loose metal." The words felt thin inside the tower. There was no one else out here. Offshore wind maintenance inspector. Night rotation. Atlantic coast. 12 turbines in this grid. I worked alone. Always alone. Routine. Structure. Climb. Inspect. Log. Move on. Still, this turbine had felt wrong from the beginning. Turbine 8. Every night, the top rungs of the internal ladder were wet. Not dripping, not flooded, just damp, as if someone had climbed down recently. But there was nothing above except open air. I climbed back up slowly, each movement careful. The metal felt cold under my gloves. The wind outside pressed against the shell of the tower, deep and constant. Like breathing, I reached the hatch and pulled myself onto the maintenance platform. The ocean stretched black in every direction. The other turbines blinked their red lights in slow rhythm, distant and silent. No boats, no helicopters, no reason for anyone to be here. I looked at the ladder again. The top rung glistened faintly. Fresh. I touched it. Wet. Cold. My chest tightened. I checked this an hour ago. The wind shifted. The blades above rotated with a low, steady pulse. The vibration beneath my feet felt different now. Alive. I closed the hatch. The sound from below stopped. The silence returned. The relief was immediate. I stood there, listening. Nothing. Only the ocean. Only the wind. I opened the hatch again. The sound resumed. Step. Pause. Step. My throat tightened. Someone was climbing. Slowly, patiently. I slammed the hatch closed. The vibration stopped. I stepped back. The platform felt smaller. The air thinner. "I don't know what this is," I said. The words did not help. The maintenance radio remained quiet. The base station was miles away. I was alone. The thought settled heavily. I forced myself to breathe. This was not possible. There was no access below. The ladder reached only to the foundation platform, and that platform had no entry point from the ocean at this tide. I had checked. Still, the sound had been clear. The rhythm human. I checked my log. Turbine 8. Moisture anomaly. Structural vibration. No explanation. I had written the same notes every night for 2 weeks. No response. No investigation. The company said environmental factors. Condensation. Temperature difference. But condensation does not move. The wind rose. The structure hummed. I looked at the other turbines. All steady. All calm. Only this one felt occupied. I leaned against the railing. My joints ached from the climb. My hands felt stiff. cold always settled deeper offshore. My grandmother used to say, "Water remembers everything." I had laughed at that. Now I was not sure. The hatch remained still, the ladder silent. The calm returned. Then the radio crackled. "Carrington. Status?" The voice from base sounded distant. "Routine," I said. "Continuing inspection. Any update on 8? Samba. Pause. Log it again." The line went quiet. I stared at the hatch. The wind pressed harder. The ocean moved in long, slow waves. The red lights blinked, and somewhere below, something waited. I did not leave Turbine 8. Normally I would have moved on. 12 structures. A strict schedule. Weather windows. Reports. But routine had started to feel thin lately. Like something I followed, only because I did not know what else to do. The hatch sat in the center of the platform, still, silent, but the silence felt intentional, as if something below understood I was listening. "I suppose," I said quietly. "You're waiting too." The wind did not answer. The ocean stretched endlessly. The turbines blinked red across the horizon, their lights slow and steady. Each one stood alone. Just like this, isolation becomes normal out here. At first it is peaceful, then it is heavy. Eventually, it becomes familiar. I opened the hatch again. The sound returned immediately. Step, pause, step. The rhythm had not changed. It was always slow, measured, as if the climber did not tire. My chest tightened. I leaned over the opening. The shaft below disappeared into darkness. A faint emergency light glowed near the base. Far below, the ladder ran straight down the center, metal and narrow, disappearing into shadow. The vibration moved through the rungs and into my hands. Step. Pause. Closer now. "I don't know who you are," I said. The sound stopped. The silence felt deeper. Then it resumed. Step. Pause. The response felt deliberate, as if it had heard me. I pulled back and closed the hatch again. The vibration stopped. The platform felt safe again, but the safety was temporary. I could feel it. The thought came slowly. It always climbs. Every night, the top rung always wet, meaning it reaches the hatch. But when I arrive, it is gone. The realization settled. I'm always late. The words felt true. I sat on the platform floor. The metal was cold. The wind pressed against the tower. I listened. The hatch remained still. Time passed, or slipped. The rhythm of the ocean became louder. The turbines turned. The night deepened. At some point, I noticed something else. The wetness on the rung. It was not salt water. It smelled different, like rain, fresh. But there had been no rain for days. I wiped my glove across the metal. Clear, cold, not ocean. Not condensation. I checked the weather log on my tablet. Dry, stable. The thought came quietly. If it is not coming from the ocean, where is it coming from? The wind shifted. The structure hummed. The radio remained silent. My body felt heavier. The exhaustion of long shifts settled deeper. I had not slept well for weeks. The ladder inside my mind began to feel familiar. Up, down, endless. The sound returned, even with the hatch closed. Faint. Step. Pause. Step. My chest tightened. That had never happened before. The vibration moved through the floor now, through the tower, through me. "I don't like this," I said. The wind swallowed the words. The hatch trembled, very slightly. The metal handle moved, just a fraction, as if something below tested it. The sound stopped again. The silence pressed inward. I waited. Nothing. The calm returned, but it was thinner now. The night felt longer. The ocean, darker. At some point, I realized I had stopped checking the other turbines. The schedule did not matter. Only this one. Only this ladder. The thought felt strange and right. The next time I opened the hatch, I did not hesitate. The sound began before the metal cleared the seal. Step, pause, step, closer than before. The rhythm felt inside my chest now, matching the slow movement of my own breathing. The shaft below seemed darker than it had earlier, as if the light at the bottom had faded or moved. I suppose, I said quietly, you know I'm here. The sound stopped. The silence stretched. Then, slowly, the ladder moved again. Step, pause, step. The answer felt deliberate, as if we were learning each other. I leaned farther over the opening. The cold air from below touched my face. It smelled like rain again, clean and distant, nothing like the ocean around us. My eyes strained to see. For a moment, I thought I saw movement. No de personne. More like a shape shifting between rungs. I blinked. The darkness returned. The vibration reached my hands. The climber was very close now. 10 rungs below. Maybe fewer. I could not tell. My chest felt tight. I don't know why you're here, I said. The sound stopped again. The silence deepened. The wind outside faded. The ocean felt far away. Then something unexpected happened. The water on the top rung began to spread. Slow, fresh, as if the climber had reached just below the hatch. But I still heard movement, meaning it had not stopped. Meaning something else had touched the top. My throat tightened. The realization came slowly. It was already here. The ladder vibrated beneath my hands, but the sound was still coming from below. 2 rhythms, one near, one far. The thought felt impossible. No, I whispered. The water on the rung dripped onto the platform. Clear, cold, fresh. The hatch handle moved, not from below, from beside me. I turned. Nothing stood there. Still, the metal shifted. The hatch opened wider. The ladder below continued. Step, pause, step, and beside me, the top rung darkened again, as if someone stood just out of sight. My chest tightened. The air behind me felt occupied. I did not turn fully. I did not want to see. I'm here, I said. The words felt automatic. The movement below slowed. The presence beside me remained. The wind outside grew softer. The ocean distant. The turbines blinked. The rhythm of the night changed. The ladder below stopped. The silence deepened. Then, slowly, the sound resumed. But this time, it was moving away. Down. Step. Pause. Step. Descending. My shoulders relaxed. The pressure eased. The presence beside me faded. The water on the rung began to dry. The hatch closed softly on its own. The calm returned. I stood there for a long time. The wind pressed against the tower. The ocean moved. The turbines turned. I realized something slowly. It had not been trying to reach me. It had been waiting for me to arrive, for me to listen, for me to answer. The thought settled. Tomorrow night, it would climb again. And one day, I would open the hatch sooner. One day, I would let it reach the top. I wiped my hands on my jacket. The metal felt dry now. The structure hummed. The radio crackled again. Carrington, status. I looked at the hatch. Routine, I said. The word felt different now. I moved to the edge of the platform. The ocean stretched endless. The wind, steady. The red lights blinking. And far below, somewhere in the dark water, something waited. The next night, I returned early. I told the base station the weather window was closing. That was true enough. Offshore shifts always have reasons. No one questioned me, but I knew why I came back. Turbine 8 stood against the dark water, its red light blinking slowly, patient, as if it had been waiting. The climb felt different. Each rung carried a faint vibration. Even before I reached the hatch, the structure hummed in a way that matched my breathing. I had not noticed that before. I suppose, I said quietly. You knew I would come. The wind answered with a low pressure against the tower. When I reached the platform, the hatch was already damp. The water glistened in the dim light. Fresh, clear, as if someone had arrived just before me. I did not touch it. Not yet. Instead, I stood there and listened. The ocean moved. The turbines blinked. The night felt wider, the isolation deeper. I opened the hatch slowly. The sound began immediately. Step, pause, step, closer than the night before. I did not pull back. The vibration traveled through my hands, up my arms, into my chest. The rhythm felt familiar, not threatening. Patient. I don't know what you are, I said. The sound paused. The silence felt full. Then the ladder moved again. Step, pause, step. The response felt like understanding. The climber reached just below the final rungs. The water spread across the metal. I leaned closer. The darkness shifted. For a moment, I saw the outline of shoulders. A head, but no face. Only shadow. My chest tightened. The air behind me felt occupied again. The presence from the previous night had returned. Closer now. Warm. Not cold. Not ocean. More like breath. The thought came slowly. It is not coming from below. It is coming from here. The ladder moved. The figure reached the final rung. The vibration stopped. The silence deepened. I waited. Nothing emerged. The shadow remained just below. The presence behind me remained. Between them, I stood. I suppose, I said, you need something. The water dripped. The shadow did not move. The presence behind me shifted slightly. The answer came as feeling, recognition, familiarity. The rhythm of my breathing matched the vibration in the metal. For a moment, I felt as if I were both above and below, climbing, waiting, listening. The next nights blended together. Each shift, I returned to Turbine 8 first. The base stopped asking questions. Routine, structure. I climbed. I opened the hatch. The rhythm began. Each time, the shadow reached the top and stopped. Each time, the presence behind me grew stronger. I began to speak less. There was no need. The silence carried meaning. One night, I noticed something new. The water on the rung was warm, not cold. I touched it. It felt like skin. My chest tightened. The memory surfaced. Rain, childhood, climbing trees during storms, water running down my arms, the sensation of height, freedom. The thought felt distant and close. I used to climb, I said. The shadow below moved slightly. The rhythm changed. Step, pause, slower, as if listening. The presence behind me leaned closer. The air around my shoulders grew warmer. The ocean faded. The turbines disappeared. The tower felt endless. A vertical space without bottom or top. The idea settled. This ladder had no end. The realization did not frighten me. Instead, it felt calm. I looked down. The shadow was still, waiting. I looked up. The hatch above. The sky beyond. The red light blinking. For the first time, I noticed something. The sky above the turbine looked darker than the rest, as if something had climbed out. The thought came gently. It always comes down, but it also goes up. The cycle continued. One night, the wind stopped. The ocean became flat. The turbines slowed. The silence spread across the entire grid. I climbed Turbine 8. The ladder felt warm all the way up. The hatch was open. I had not left it that way. The platform waited. The presence surrounded me. I leaned over the opening. The shadow was already there, waiting. I did not hesitate. I stepped onto the top rung. The water covered my boots. The warmth spread. The shadow did not move. I suppose, I said, it's my turn. The presence behind me deepened. For a moment, I felt two bodies, one above, one below, one climbing, One waiting, the rhythm aligned. Step, pause, step. The ladder extended downward, endless. The ocean disappeared. The wind disappeared. Only the rhythm remained. I climbed. The shadow above moved away. The presence followed. The cycle continued. Far above, the platform remained. The hatch open, the water fresh, the red light blinking, and somewhere on the horizon, a new inspector approached. He climbed. He reached the platform. He saw the wet rung. He heard the slow climbing. He froze, and the ladder moved. Step, pause, step. Story number 2. The metal drawer slammed shut behind me. I froze with my hand still on the handle, holding my breath, because I knew I had not closed it that hard. The crematorium was supposed to be empty. The trainee had gone to the office to finish paperwork. The night shift always ran slow after midnight. Ohio winters do that. People stay home. The dead arrive quietly, but the drawer had been open when I turned away. Now it was sealed. I don't know, I said under my breath. Maybe the track slipped. The sound of my voice felt wrong in the room. Everything in this building softened noise. Thick concrete walls, steel doors, ventilation, always humming. Still, the silence felt heavier tonight. I pulled the drawer open again. The body lay inside, covered to the chest, skin pale under the fluorescent lights. Male, late 60s. No visible trauma. Intake form attached. Pending. No time of death. The hospital had called earlier. They said paperwork delay. Happens sometimes. I had worked here long enough to know delays meant nothing. Still, something felt off. The body was warm, not slightly. Warm like someone sleeping. I touched the wrist again. The trainee had been right. Sir, he had said when we received the intake. Is that normal? No, I had told him. But hospitals make mistakes. Now I was not sure. The chest did not move. The face looked calm, peaceful, but the warmth remained. I checked the intake form again. Name blank, time blank, cause blank. Only one word. Pending. The air in the room felt different. Warmer, as if the furnace had shifted. I stepped back. The ventilation did not change. The temperature gauge remained steady. The warmth was local, centered on the body. I pulled the drawer out further. The metal wheels rolled smoothly. The body did not move, but the sound of skin sliding against fabric felt louder than it should. I swallowed. I don't like this. The words felt small. I turned to log the intake. The computer screen flickered. The file opened. No record. The trainee entered quietly. You need help? His voice startled me. Just a delay, I said. Go check the furnace calibration. He nodded and left. The door closed. The silence returned. I looked back. The body's foot was uncovered. The toe tag hung loose. It had been secured earlier. Now it swung gently. There was no air, no movement. Still, it swayed. I stepped closer. The tag read a name, not the hospital ID, a different one. I leaned in. The letters looked familiar. Harold Vance, my name. My throat tightened. That's not funny, I said. The room did not answer. I touched the tag. The paper felt warm, as if it had just been written. The ink looked fresh. I pulled the intake form. The word pending remained. The tag remained. My name. The body skin still warm. I stepped back. My chest felt tight. I did not process myself. The thought felt strange, but something inside me responded. Not fear. Recognition. The ventilation hummed. The furnace down the hall ignited. The sound felt louder tonight, as if it were closer. I looked at the face again. For a moment, I thought it had changed. The mouth seemed slightly different, the jaw softer, the resemblance closer. I shook my head. Fatigue. Long nights. I had worked here for 20 years. My joints ached. My hands stayed cold. The trainee returned. Furnace is ready. Good, I said. He looked at the body. You said paperwork delay? Yes. He hesitated. Sir, it looks like you. The words hung in the air. I know. He stepped closer. Should we call the hospital? No. The answer came too quickly. I did not know why. The trainee watched me. The furnace door opened. In the other room, the orange glow reached the hallway. The warmth increased. The body's skin seemed warmer. The toe tag brushed my hand. The trainee whispered, Sir. I did not answer. The thought came slowly. It is waiting. For what? For the time. The trainee looked at the intake form. There's no time of death. I nodded. That means it hasn't happened yet. He laughed nervously, but the sound died quickly. The furnace roared. The room grew brighter. The toe tag changed. The letters blurred, shifted, returned. Harold Vance. The trainee stepped back. I don't like this. Neither do I. The body's fingers moved. Not fully. Just a slight shift. The trainee gasped. The warmth spread. The air thickened. The furnace sound deepened. The body's chest did not rise, but the presence in the room did. The toe tag tightened around the foot, as if something had secured it. The intake form flickered on the screen. A time appeared. Pending. Then, now, my chest tightened. The trainee whispered, Sir, you need to sit. I did not move. The thought came clearly. I had always processed others. Tonight, the system was processing me. The furnace waited. The room watched. The body remained. Warm, patient, and the time of death had not yet arrived. The trainee did not leave. He stood near the doorway, watching the body, then watching me, as if he could not decide which one was more dangerous. His hands trembled slightly. He tried to hide it by gripping the clipboard. Sir, he said, we should stop. The word stop sounded strange in this place. Nothing here stopped. The furnace ran. The ventilation ran. The system moved forward no matter what. I looked at the clock above the preparation table. It had no second hand, only the minute, and it had not moved. I suppose, I said quietly. We are waiting. For what? He asked. For the time. The trainee swallowed. The time of death? I nodded. The body remained warm. The furnace roared. The air pressed against my skin like hands. The trainee stepped closer. Sir, please. This isn't right. I looked at him. You wanted to learn this job. He hesitated. Not like this. I almost smiled. Neither did I. The toe tag brushed the metal tray. Again. I stared at it. My name remained. The letters were steady now. Permanent. The trainee reached for the tag. Don't, I said. He stopped. Why? I did not know. But the answer came. If you remove it, the system will correct. He looked confused. What system? I did not answer. The thought felt old, familiar, as if I had always known. The trainee stepped back. The furnace sound deepened. The room grew brighter. The body's fingers moved again. This time, more clearly. The trainee gasped. It moved. Yes. Is he alive? No. How do you know? Because I am. The words settled. He stared at me. The realization reached him slowly. Sir, are you saying? I don't know, I said. The body's head tilted slightly. The resemblance was undeniable now. Samayav. Same lines. Same scar above the eyebrow. The trainee whispered, This is you. The air grew warmer. The ventilation stopped. The silence became heavy. The furnace roared louder. The clock on the wall flickered. The minute hand moved. One step. The intake form changed. The blank fields filled slowly. Name, Harold Vance. Cause, pending. Time, still blank. The trainee shook his head. No, this is wrong. He reached for the door. It did not open. He pulled harder. The handle would not move. I can't get out. The calm in my chest deepened. You are not supposed to. He turned toward me. Why? Because you are witness. The word sounded correct. He backed away. The body's chest rose slightly, then fell. A breath. Slow. Impossible. The trainee began to cry. I don't want to see this. You already are. The body's eyes opened. They did not look at him. They looked at me. Recognition. Patience. The furnace door in the other room slammed shut. The roar became steady. The body's lips parted. No sound, but I heard the words. You know the process. The thought came without voice. I nodded. Yes. The trainee stared. Who are you talking to? Myself. The intake form flickered again. The time field glowed. Waiting. The body's mouth moved. You have always guided others. Now guide yourself. My chest tightened. I don't know how. You do. The knowledge surfaced. Every step. Every detail. The routine I had followed for decades. Preparation. Transfer. Completion. The trainee shook his head. Sir, this is not real. I looked at him. It is more real than anything I have done. The clock moved again. Another minute. The warmth increased. The body sat upright. The straps on the tray tightened. Holding. The trainee screamed. I remained calm. The body looked at me. Come. The word filled the room. I did not move at first. The body sat upright, waiting, its eyes steady on mine. The furnace roared in the next room like distant thunder. The heat pressed through the hallway and into the preparation room, thick and patient. The trainee backed into the corner. Sir, don't go near it. His voice sounded far away. I looked at the body again. The resemblance was no longer something I needed to confirm. It was simply true. The shape, the posture, even the small tilt of the head when it waited for an answer. I suppose, I said quietly, this was always going to happen. The body did not blink. The intake form on the screen glowed brighter. The time field still empty. Waiting, I stepped closer. The floor felt softer, as if the room had changed. The air was heavy, but not uncomfortable. It felt familiar, the way this place had always felt to me during long nights. Safe, quiet, predictable. The trainee whispered, Sir, please. I stopped beside the table. The body looked up. You know the next step. The thought arrived without sound. Yes, I said. The words did not frighten me. I had guided hundreds through this process. Preparation, identification, final confirmation. The routine had never felt emotional, only necessary. Now, it felt personal. I reached for the tag. The trainee shouted, Don't touch it, but I already had. The paper felt warm, the ink steady. Harold Vance. The body's hand moved. It touched my wrist. The contact was not cold, not dead. It felt exactly like my own skin. The trainee began to sob. This isn't happening. The body's eyes never left mine. You must accept. The words felt calm. Accept what? That the time does not come from outside. The intake form flickered again. The time field pulsed. The clock on the wall ticked forward. Another minute. The furnace roared louder. The room grew brighter. I understood slowly. The system did not decide. I did. I had always decided. For every body, every form, every record, the authority had always been mine. I don't know if I'm ready. You have never been. The calm deepened. The trainee tried the door again. Still locked. He turned back. What do we do? I looked at him. You watch. The words surprised me, but it felt right. The body nodded. Witness. The trainee shook his head. No, I don't want this. It doesn't matter. The intake form glowed. The time field waited. The body's hand remained on my wrist. The warmth spread through my arm. Memories surfaced. Years of night shifts. Silence. The comfort of routine. The distance from the living. The ease of this place. I suppose, I said. I never really left. The body smiled. The first expression. Gentle. Understanding. The clock moved again. The minute hand reached the next mark. The time field filled. Now, the trainee gasped. What did you do? I finished the form. The room settled. The furnace sound softened. The heat became steady. The body lay back down. The eyes closed. The resemblance faded. Only a normal face remained. The toe tag loosened. The name changed. Hospital ID returned. The intake form updated. Time of death recorded. The system corrected. The door unlocked. The trainee stumbled forward. Sir, are you okay? I looked at my hands. They felt colder than before. The warmth had left the room. The furnace burned steadily. I'm fine, I said, but the word felt distant. The trainee stared. You don't look fine. I checked the reflection in the metal tray. For a moment, I did not recognize the face. Then it returned. Almost. The trainee whispered. What happened? I looked at the body. Paperwork delay. He shook his head. That wasn't paperwork. No. The calm remained. The silence deeper than before. The system complete. As we prepared the transfer, I noticed something else. A new intake form appeared in the queue. No name. Lucimi. Only one word. Pending. I felt the familiar calm return. Somewhere, another delay had begun, and I would be ready. The next intake arrived before dawn. The trainee and I stood at the receiving bay when the transport van backed in. The headlights cut across the concrete floor, long and pale, making the room look deeper than it was. The driver did not get out. He never did. The doors opened from inside. The stretcher rolled forward on its own. The trainee stared. Did you see that? Yes, I said. The body was covered completely this time. The intake folder rested on the chest. Pending. The trainee hesitated. Sir, should we call someone? No. The word came easily now. Hotin. Struktur. The building felt calm again, as if the previous night had been expected. The furnace hummed. The ventilation resumed its steady breath. The fluorescent lights buzzed softly, but the warmth had returned. Centered on the stretcher, we rolled it into the preparation room. The trainee's hands shook. I don't want to be here. You already are. He swallowed. This is happening again, isn't it? Yes. The calm inside me deepened. The memory of the previous night remained clear. The moment the time had filled, the control, the silence. The intake folder opened by itself. The paper inside blank. Only one word. Pending. The trainee whispered. Sir, what does that mean? It means the system is waiting. For what? For us. The stretcher stopped beside the table. The warmth increased. The trainee stepped back. I can't do this. You can. He shook his head. No. This isn't normal. Neither is death. The words settled. The cover shifted slightly. The body moved beneath. The trainee gasped. The ventilation slowed. The room grew quiet. I pulled the sheet down. The face looked familiar, but not in the way I expected. The man looked like the trainee. Older, worn, peaceful. The trainee stared. That's not me. Not yet. His breathing became uneven. This is a trick. The furnace ignited. The roar filled the hallway. The warmth grew stronger. The trainee backed into the wall. I want to leave. The door did not open. You can't. He looked at me. Why not? Because you are the next witness. The realization reached him slowly. No. The body's chest did not move, but the presence in the room did. The intake form on the screen opened. The blank fields waited. The clock above the wall had no second hand, only the minute. It began to move. One step. The trainee shook his head. I'm not ready. No one is. The body's fingers twitched. The trainee cried out. This isn't real. It is. The calm spread. The system had begun again. The trainee would not look at the body. He pressed his back against the wall, eyes closed, as if that could stop what was happening. His breathing came in short bursts. The room seemed to match him. The ventilation slowed. The air tightened. "Open your eyes," I said. "No, you have to. I don't want to see it." "You already have." He shook his head. "This is a mistake. This is stress. This is something in the air." I watched the monitor. The intake form waited. Name blank. Cuz blank. Time blank. The clock moved again. Another minute. The trainee opened his eyes. The body's head had turned slightly, facing him. "Hey, Gosped, that's not me." The words were weaker now. The resemblance had grown. Same shape of the nose. Same lines in the forehead. The same small scar above the eyebrow. "You see it," I said. "No." "Yes." He looked at me. "Did this happen to you?" "Yes." "What did you do?" I finished the form. He shook his head. "I won't." The body's hand moved. Slow. It reached toward the edge of the table. The warmth increased. The trainee stepped closer without meaning to. His breathing slowed. The calm began. "This feels quiet," he whispered. "That is the point." The furnace roared. The body's eyes opened. They looked only at him. Recognition. Patience. The trainee's shoulders dropped. "I'm so tired. I know. I haven't slept in months. I know." The silence deepened. The room seemed larger. The lights softer. The clock moved again. The minute hand reached the next mark. The intake form flickered. The trainee looked at the screen. "What do I write?" The question surprised him, but not me. "Start with the name." His hands moved. Slow. He typed. The letters appeared. His own. He stopped. "I can't." "You already did." The body sat upright. The trainee did not scream. He watched. The calm held him. "What happens after?" "You guide the next." The idea settled. The body reached for him. The touch was warm. He closed his eyes. "I suppose," he said. "This is how it works." "Yes." The time field glowed. Waiting. The room felt smaller now. Not physically. The walls had not moved. The machines had not changed. But the silence pressed closer, as if the building itself leaned inward to listen. The trainee stood beside the table. The body sat upright across from him, their faces almost identical. The furnace burned steadily. The clock moved again. Another minute. The time field pulsed. The trainee looked at me. "What if I don't write it?" "You will." "How do you know?" "Because the calm will not leave until you do." He nodded slowly. The warmth had spread through his shoulders now. I could see it in the way he stood. The tension was gone. The fear had softened into something else. Something patient. The body spoke without sound. The trainee answered aloud. "I understand." The intake form glowed brighter. He placed his hands on the keyboard. The letters filled. Cause. Time. Final. The clock reached the next mark. The time field filled. Now. The furnace sound softened. The heat settled. The body lay back down. The resemblance faded. Only an ordinary face remained. The trainee stepped back. The calm did not leave him. He looked at his hands. "They feel cold." "Yes." "That means it's done?" "For now." The door unlocked. Morning light touched the edge of the hallway. The trainee turned toward me. "What happens next?" "You stay." "And you?" "I leave." The words surprised me, but they felt correct. The system moved forward. The trainee looked at the queue. Another intake had appeared. Pending. He looked at me. "I'm ready." I nodded. The calm inside me shifted. For the first time in years, the weight of the building lifted slightly. I walked toward the exit. The trainee called after me. "Sir." I turned. "Thank you." I almost smiled. Outside, the morning felt distant. The air cold. The world loud. But somewhere behind me, the furnace continued. The system continued, and in the quiet rooms, the forms waited. One day, my name would appear again, but not yet. The sun rose, the building hummed, and the next witness began. Some stories don't end when the telling stops. They simply settle back into the quiet, waiting to be noticed again. If tonight's stories kept you company, there are many more waiting here on Whisper Cradle. You'll find another one appearing on your screen now. Maybe listen to that one next and see where the night takes you.